Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Squared Circle Button podcast, episode 2.
You sound like you're on like NPR or something. You're just like, welcome. You have like that calm voice going on right now.
Okay. Anyway, for those that don't know, this is a podcast where myself, Andrew, and
Candace.
I talk about video games, and she talks about what?
Wrestling.
Yeah, that thing. So, last time I kind of went and talked about what I was playing. Actually, we kind of introed like what the podcast was about because it was our first one. And so, with that, I'll just go right into it. Since I played a lot of stuff this past couple weeks, I guess we weren't going to get a weekly podcast, but that's just the way it went. Maybe sometimes we'll be able to, but I did play a lot of games since then. So, the first one I played, I went back to PC for a while and spent a good night playing Dungeons of Dreadmore, which is it's an RPG, I guess people would call it a roguelike. So you get a party of, I think you have up to 4 people at a time, and you're going through these dungeons, and it's something to do with like this person's estate, and they've got all these dungeons there, and I forgot exactly what the goal was, but anyway, it wasn't important to me. I was just looking for a good game to get into, and this one was pretty good. So I played a bit of it. It's really, really hard. It's one of those games where anything bad that can happen will happen to your characters. You can get all these different afflictions and stuff, and it's really cool actually how it works, but like you really have to plan on every move when you're going through these dungeons. You get your party, then they're kind of like in a certain order. You can change the order that they're in, and that affects like what kind of skills they can use and what enemies they can attack. So that's kind of, it's really strategic. And it's really hard because at every turn something is going to happen to you. There's a stress meter that goes up the more things happen to them, and if something gets someone stressed enough, then they have a critical moment where they can either just get a really negative trait added to them, or they can sometimes have enough resolve to overcome it and actually get a positive trait. So whenever they get stressed to this critical point, they can go one of two ways. It's like a fight or flight kind of thing. I think like 90% of the time it's been the negative one for me, which just makes it much harder. So I don't know. It's one of those games where I feel I kind of want to play it more because it's really interesting, but going back to it's going to be hard because every time I feel I make progress, something else comes and just slams you back down. And it's not like Dark Souls where you feel like you're progressing a whole lot at once, but it's a little more, you're always like playing it, on the skin of your teeth kind of. So it's like really kind of demoralizing when all your guys are like getting like blighted and getting all these like negative traits added to them, which can be permanent unless you heal them in town. There's ways to relieve stress. I think there's like a brothel. There's a
of course there's a brothel.
They can go get some drinks. They can go in like the sanitarium for some things. Yeah, it's a really dark game, and it's reflected in the art style, which is actually pretty cool. I think that's one of the coolest things about it, actually, is the art style. But
is that the only redeeming quality of it?
no, it's got really good systems, and I mean the randomness is really harsh against the player, but I think it's just one of those things where you might have to get better at it. I actually thought about restarting from the beginning several times, but I'm going to try to push through on my initial save and see how far it gets me, because I haven't lost everyone yet, because you keep replenishing your heroes, because they keep coming on a wagon at regular intervals. So if you have some of them die, and there is permadeath, so if someone dies, they're permanently dead. You can.
So like if you die in the game, you die for real.
No, that's something different.
Okay.
That was a movie, I believe. But
okay.
Yeah, so there's permadeath, but you can always hire new people, but then you have the downside of not having those new people coming in have as many skills as the other ones, and it's like people that stick around for a while, they become like veterans, and you try to have them not die as much, and have better skills and stuff like that. You can level up everything in the game, it seems, so there's a lot of management with that. So it's a little overwhelming, but it's really cool. I'll probably play it again when I feel like I am up for the challenge, I guess. So another game I played in the last couple weeks, I mentioned on the last podcast, I ordered the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle fighting game, and that's for PS3. And since I'm into that anime series, I ended up enjoying it. But actually, it seems like a pretty good game. There's a lot of content in it, actually. People that have played Street Fighter are going to just probably pick it up pretty easily, because so the move set for each character is usually based around like quarter circle turns and a button combination. So, I mean, you can learn someone's moves with probably like, a session of practice. You'll probably get a good grasp of their moves and know how to do them. And they have a lot of characters in the game. For people that have watched the series, I believe they have everything, pretty much most of the main characters from the entire series. It started out as a manga, but it's, I think they're on the fourth, they're on part 4 right now as far as playing the anime, but that generally reflects the manga pretty closely. But anyway, the game's pretty good. It's just kind of fun to go through the story mode, and it follows the story of the show, or I guess the anime, or manga, either one really, but it follows that, and so you unlock characters that way, and when you beat levels, you unlock coins that you can use to purchase like buffs to your character for that match, to try to get farther, because there's one where I got to where the other character had full health and I had half health, so I had to use a buff on that one to get through it, because it was kind of hard. But it's a pretty fun game. I'm super into it. But the other game I wanted to really talk about, at least in this first part, I'll let you talk in a little bit, but I wouldn't say addicted to, but I've been playing a lot of Enter the Gungeon, and that's the top-down, I guess it's kind of like a twin-stick shooter, but it's like a roguelite, I guess people call it.
Is this the game you yell at the TV all the time with?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay.
The reason is because it's hard. Okay. It's very difficult. But it's a dungeon crawling thing, randomly generated dungeons. You're going through each floor of the dungeon, basically, the Gungeon, as it's called. the cool thing about the game is everything is themed after guns, and I mean the enemies are like bullets, like anthropomorphic bullets that shoot other guns at you. It's kind of funny. And yeah, there's a lot of actual guns for you to get in the game, and so you go floor to floor and gun down these enemies, and you fight a boss at the end of each floor. I've heard there's 5 floors in the game, but I can never get past like 3 because it ramps up in difficulty pretty quickly. I mean, even starting out, if you don't get any good guns, you're kind of screwed, and sometimes you just want to restart. But so there's some kind of progression in there, things that you can get that permanently help you out. But a lot of times you might just do a run and just die and go back to the beginning and get frustrated. Because there's, I guess, people that have played like bullet hell games. A lot of the tougher enemies shoot a lot of bullets, so it's kind of like a bullet hell game at that point. A lot of the bosses do that. So it's a lot of dodging around hundreds of bullets on screen kind of thing. But that's pretty fun. I don't usually play those kind of games, but it's a kind of a cool mishmash, and the art style is really cool. It's an indie game published by Devolver, which is a really cool publisher. They also did like Hotline Miami.
That's why it looked familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, they published it. I forgot who the actual developer was, but yeah, it's a cool thing. It's just like a cool game to play if you got a little bit of time. Just go through and see how far you can get in a run. So I have some bigger games to talk about, but I will hand it off to you because I know you probably want to talk about some wrestling stuff that happened.
Shinsuke Nakamura. I have been feeling terrible since the last time we did this because I pronounced his name wrong. It's Shinsuke Nakamura.
I'm sorry to the 2 listeners that have listened to the podcast.
They have subscribed. There have been like 20 listens.
Okay. Shush. Speaking of which, I have to subscribe to my own channel. I forgot to.
You still have to give me the password too. So, I guess since I've repeated his name about 5 times, I should start with him.
Go ahead.
So, we are, 2 weeks out from Mania? Yeah, 2 weeks. April Fool's Day, Friday, was NXT TakeOver Dallas. Infinitely better than WrestleMania as a whole. Every match was entertaining and good and kept you into the event, and it definitely gave WrestleMania like, oh hey, you guys should probably up your game. It started off with American Alpha winning the tag titles off of the Revival. I'm very happy American Alpha won.
All right.
Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. Jason Jordan has been around for a very long time in NXT, and he worked his butt off, and every time he thought he would break through, he didn't. And they finally just decided, hey, let's put him with Chad Gable, see what happens. NXT Tag Team Champions. That man literally was crying because of how hard he had worked to get to that point. It was definitely very rewarding to see that. Asuka beat Bayley. Bayley lost. Bayley's not the women's champion anymore. I'm very, very saddened by this.
Your facial expression doesn't come out on audio.
I know.
Just saying.
But my tone does. And I'm very saddened. Asuka is very deserving, but I love Bayley. I love Bayley a lot. Finn Balor beat Samoa Joe. Let me think. Can't remember any other ones. Austin Aries beat Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin ended up going on and debuting on WrestleMania in the Battle Royal, which Shaq was in. That made no sense.
That was kind of funny.
It was weird. Match of the night on NXT was Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. That, if I ever want to show one match as to why I love wrestling, I think it'd be Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. That was a phenomenal match. It was emotional. They told an excellent story. Shinsuke Nakamura is very, very charismatic, I guess would be the word to describe him. He's called the King of Strong Style. Not many people in the United States, I think, like casual wrestling fans, probably don't have any idea who he is.
Get good, casual. Never mind. That's later. I'm jumping the gun.
Hall of Fame was the second. Snoop Dogg actually had a very good speech. He even had a rap. It was pretty cool.
Did he smoke a joint?
No, but he did talk about doing that with John Cena at one point. In so few words. The Freebird speech, people have been bitching and complaining about how it lasted almost an hour, and to them I say shut up. Because if you even think about comparing the Freebird speech to Mr. T's speech, I will come to your house and punch you in the face. Because at least when the Freebirds talked, they had entertaining stories. They talked about wrestling, which, you know, you're being inducted into a wrestling Hall of Fame. You should probably talk about wrestling.
Nah.
And besides, they're fascinating, and it's Michael P.S. Hayes. Like, the man had a Bad Street USA shirt on, he was wearing a fanny pack, and he ended up singing Bad Street USA after their speech. So, shut up, it was entertaining. Mr. T spoke for over an hour, and not once did he mention wrestling in a Wrestling Hall of Fame speech, and all he did was talk about his mama. Okay, you love your mama. Don't have to talk for over an hour about her. When you're being inducted into a Wrestling Hall of Fame, you should probably say at least one thing about wrestling. At least.
That was probably the weirdest speech I've ever heard.
It was very bothersome. I didn't...
Talking about different...
Her digestive tract. Urinary tract.
I didn't...
It was...
I don't remember the context. Something about she went through a lot.
He loves everything about his mama. Everything.
Okay. I thought it had something to do when she was carrying him or something.
Maybe,
like
but he wanted to reiterate that he loved everything about his mama. So, but anyway,
right.
If you bitch and complain about the Freebird speech, I will come find you and punch you in the face. Because that was an excellent speech. It was entertaining throughout. Jimmy Garvin does not look like Jimmy Garvin anymore. What happened to his hair? Old Jimmy Garvin, when my mom watched him in WCCW, had these nice, long, flowing black locks, like down to his shoulder, curly, everything. And I think he had a mustache. Did not have the hair at all. He was completely bald. He looked a lot shorter. It was weird. I'm a little uncomfortable by it, but okay. Anyway, WrestleMania. So there is no more WWE Divas Championship. It is now a kick-ass looking belt. And kick-ass looking title. And it is the WWE Women's Championship. I don't mind the word diva, but I'm glad they're trying to focus on women's wrestling. I'm a little disappointed that it was focusing on just those three, because there were 10 divas in the pre-show that are also women's wrestlers, but they're conveniently forgotten about. So that's a little disappointing, but I do like how Charlotte's first feud for the women's championship is Natalya, because as much as Natalya's total divas persona annoys the hell out of me, she does deserve a lot more than what she's getting. So it's nice that she's getting a shot at that. Zack Ryder won, what was that? That was very random. It was very awesome to see him celebrate with his dad. And then the next night on Raw, he lost it to The Miz because Maurice came back. So that was... And Maurice is The Miz's wife, for those who don't know. Cesaro came back. That was excellent. I may have had a tiny little squeal, and Andrew looked at me all funny, like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, it's Cesaro! It was great. He's been out since November. It was wonderful to see him come back. I'm a little confused on the point of Shane and The Undertaker's match. Actually, more than a little confused. The build-up to the match sucked. They never truly explained why The Undertaker would do anything for Vince McMahon. And then it was, if Shane wins, he runs Raw. Shane comes out the next night and says goodbye, and Vince goes, oh, you're not going to show me up, all this stuff. And then he lets him run Raw. And then last week, Shane runs Raw. I'm not going to complain. I enjoy seeing that beautiful man's face on the screen. I'm just a little confused as to the point of the match, because Undertaker may be retiring and Shane's running Raw anyway, so why have a match? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Apollo Crews debuted on Raw. I literally do not care. He reminds me of Rocky Maivia, which is not a good thing. Because he's always smiling and he's always so happy. Rocky Maivia was actually The Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Rocky Maivia, when he first debuted, had his pineapple hair and this big perma smile plastered on his face. And he tried way too hard to get people to like him. And that's why people started chanting, die, Rocky, die.
Things have changed a little bit.
Then he got hurt. He hurt his knee. He went away, and then he came back and he was The Rock. And the rest is history. Apollo Crews is trying way too hard. That smile, you can't be that happy all the time. You can't be. There's something dark hidden underneath that huge, cheesy smile. And he needs to go away. Anyway, the last two things I'm going to talk about in this segment. Two of my favorite NXT tag teams debuted the week after Mania. The Vaudevillains debuted on SmackDown in their black and white flapper era glory. I love the Vaudevillains. Simon Gotch is amazing. He's actually retweeted me and everything, and I love him.
Internet points.
Yay! Yay me! So is Bailey, so yay! And the best thing of all, which wrestling fans have been waiting for a long time, Enzo and Cass debuted on Raw. And it was amazing. They interrupted the Dudley Boys, and it was great. And Smack Talker Skywalker was talking. That's Enzo Amore's nickname. The Jordan of Jargon. Smack Talker Skywalker. Certified G and a bona fide stud.
And you can't teach that.
Yes! And Big Cass is 7 foot
You've
tall.
only repeated it like 9,001 times.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Which is over 9,000, by the way.
So happy they debuted. I've literally watched the debut like 50 times already. Like, I literally will watch that on repeat. The day after, I had the day after off. I had Tuesday off. So I just sat and watched it all morning. Over and over, constant loop. It was beautiful.
This is the life of a wrestling fan, folks.
It was beautiful. A Mike Saber for a hater. And there were a couple haters. Hate ain't nothing but love disguised by jealousy.
Okay.
Devon and Bubba are so ugly that the tears run down the back of their head to avoid their face. How you doing? I can keep going.
Am I supposed to react to that?
Maybe. I don't know. Just makes me so happy that they're around and they're so great. And there are a bunch of things I can say about the worst things about the Ascension, but the worst thing, you're the Ascension. It was great. So great. I love them.
Okay.
Enzo Amore is amazing. And his hair is crazy. And he's amazing.
Sure.
And he's awesome. And he dances. And it's great. And I love them. I love them.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm professing my love for Enzo and Cass.
You were just kind of like, I don't know, off in your own little world there for a second.
Speaking of watching all of that and off in my own little world, I may just watch their debut yet again after this.
All right.
It'll be great.
And I will not do that.
He's heard it about 1 million times already anyway.
So, I'll go back into some other games that I've been playing because there's some good ones. Maybe I should say the best for last. I did try out the Final Fantasy 15 demo. Well, it's the Platinum demo. That was kind of a weird thing. There wasn't a lot of, like... It felt more like a tech demo, really. They had you starting off in some tutorial area. It was like some caves or something, and you're fighting some low-level guys, and you're just kind of being taught how to play the game. And then you were transported into some large room in like a mansion. That's what it reminded me of anyway. And think of like old wood and Victorian style decoration. That's what the level felt. So you're in a room, but you're like very tiny. Like if you've ever seen The Borrowers, that's what it reminded me of, kinda. You're a very tiny person in a very large world, and you're playing this guy Noct, I think, Noctis, something like that, and you're going around fighting some of these dudes that were like blue and they looked like they were made of energy or something. I don't know what they're supposed to be called in the game, but and you had like this cat guy like leading you around, and then I think you're also outside in like a castle area. Yeah, it was just a big tutorial that kind of felt like a tech demo to show off. Like there's some physics stuff in there. There's some blocks that you could push over and find some more items and stuff. You could get on these pressure plates and turn into a car, because why not? And also they had pads where you could like change the weather and change the time of day. It was kind of cool. But it still didn't feel like it was reminiscent of what the whole experience is going to be like when it eventually does come out. But it looks like it has promise. I just wish there was a little bit more there. I have not gotten to play the Episode Duske demo either, so that probably would have helped kind of inform me a little bit more about how it's going to look when the full game launches. The other thing, this weekend, the Doom beta was made available to all for all platforms. I think it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Every
time you say Doom, I think of Doom, 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 Doom.
Yeah. Well, this is I guess kind of a reboot, but well, they rebooted the name, but it's the new Doom game. We'll call it Doom 2016. Because they just used Doom as the title. No number or anything. But the game shows promise. It's a multiplayer beta. It kind of gave me a lot of vibes of like Quake 3, kind of like just the way it moved, the fast-paced nature of it. You don't reload your guns. You just keep firing, and they're on a cooldown. So that's a little different. Like most games have reloading these days, but this one doesn't. I was playing it on PS4, and it's kind of hard to get used to the sensitivity of that on a console. It felt like a game that you'd probably want to play on PC. If you have a good enough PC to play it. It looks really good too. And the matches have just been fun. I really like the level design. Since you have like a double jump and also you can clamber, that's like when you get to a ledge. If you get close enough, your character will climb up to the top. So there's a lot of like little shortcuts and little hidey holes that you can jump into and clamber into. It's kind of cool. So it allows for more strategy of traversing the level, so it's not like a flat level. There's a lot of verticality to it. And there's also jump pads that also reminded me of Quake 3. And the two modes that they had, it was Team Deathmatch and Warpath. So Team Deathmatch is exactly what you think. Two teams, red and blue, against each other, going for a frag count. And the other one, Warpath, is like King of the Hill, but the hill is moving constantly. Not like teleporting, but it's actually, think of like a convoy almost, and it's just slowly moving. So the area that you're supposed to be in, the hill, is slowly moving throughout the level, which is kind of a cool concept, I think. I don't think anything else has done that yet. So I think that's cool because it's unique and keeps it fun. You have to kind of change your strategies once it's at different parts of the level. So I think that's a win for that one. The weapons feel good. The rocket launcher is cool. You can actually shoot a rocket and then detonate it in midair. So if you're going for like a shot and you miss and it's still going to get close, but you can't wait for it to like hit the wall or the floor or something, you can just detonate it there. If you have good timing, you can get some good kills off of that. I didn't try rocket jumping yet. That might be in there, but I'm not sure. They have like an assault rifle. That's pretty cool. They got a sniper gun, kind of like the rail gun. It's not a one hit though. You have to get like a few hits usually to take someone out on that. And there's melee. And it's interesting when you do melee kills, they'll do like a little animation and kind of take people down that way. Kind of like in Halo, they had the assassination kills. It plays a little animation and you take them out. And they also have taunts. And as far as I know, Doom is going to be the first game. I'm probably wrong, but Doom is going to be the first game I know of that has allowed you to taunt someone with the Carlton dance, which is amazing.
That is pretty great.
Yeah. Then you can also there's one with like devil horns and the other ones aren't as memorable, but yeah, it's always fun to taunt people. So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that. It seems fun so far. I think I'll have to eventually pick that one up. Maybe when I get a new PC, I'll have to get that on there. So the other big game I want to talk about is a little game called Dark Souls 3. And that's what I've been playing a lot lately. As most other people probably are too. Playing on PS4. I had it pre-ordered. I love the series. And so far this one doesn't disappoint either. I mean, if you like Dark Souls, feels like Dark Souls. It feels more like the first game, actually, as far as the art style, the weapons available, just the general feel of things. I think that even like a lot of the art assets are still familiar, like for items, but everything is much better looking, of course, now that we're on newer consoles, and like the PC version probably still looks amazing. I've seen some video of that, and it runs at 60 frames per second, so it's nice and smooth. I'll probably eventually get that too on PC. But yeah, I've been liking it a lot so far. It just feels really tight and feels like I heard Brad from the Giant Bomb crew say on their podcast that it feels like a greatest hits of like a greatest hits album of Dark Souls. I kind of understand where he's coming from. It's like there's a lot of familiar things in there that people will recognize from the first game, and it feels like the best ones. It just feels really like everything has been really good so far. I haven't seen anything that has just been really jarring, because in the past, like Dark Souls has been kind of, it's had certain areas of the game that just don't feel tight enough, or it just feels it's rushed or thrown in. But this one so far, it's just been quality stuff. I think my character's at like level 30 right now. I just started adventuring into Road of Sacrifices, I think. I've beaten 3 bosses so far, I believe. So I'm probably going to be fighting another one pretty soon. It's super fun. It just feels really good. Like, people are gonna... And I mean, the cool thing is there's new... some of the new enemies are pretty cool. I think they took a lot of cues from things they've learned over the other the other games in the series. Like, things can transform on you now. That was kind of a thing that happened a lot in Bloodborne. You'll see an enemy and be like, oh, they don't look so tough, but then they'll like all of a sudden transform into some giant thing, and you're like, oh god, what am I gonna do? Oh my god,
it looks so innocuous, then all of a sudden it has 15 legs and hands, and you are like, shit, I need to run away.
There's one that happens like really early on, probably within, I won't spoil as what it is, but like in probably your first session, you might encounter something like that, and it's always really jarring and frightening. If you don't keep your cool, you might just just go tilt and die. But yeah, that's something that's been really cool. And the lore is always like mysterious, and it kind of harkens back a lot to the first game, and there's a lot of stuff from the first game that people will recognize. I like that there's like a hub that's really early on that you get to, and that's where you can do most everything. The other games, you kind of had to go around like different parts of the world to even get to certain merchants and stuff like that, to buy stuff or sell things. But in this, so far, I think everyone has kind of been at the Firelink Shrine. So it's kind of cool that you can have it in one place. It just makes more sense. But Dark Souls has always been kind of quirky sometimes, so it feels like a more tight experience, I would say. I would highly recommend it. And it's something that I'll be playing for probably quite a while till I beat it. So
just like the other 2.
Yep. I want to also just kind of mention the stuff coming up. I didn't really look at a lot. I'll just reiterate that I'm still excited for Hitman Episode 2 to come out later this month. It comes out on the 26th of April. And Uncharted 4 is still coming out next month, May.
Yay! I'm actually excited for that, because I like watching you play that.
Yeah, those are good games. So, I'll let you go on about some other stuff you wanted to say.
All right. Let's see. Brie Bella retired, but they're not going to do anything to mention it on TV until it's covered on Total Divas, which is next season, and that'll be almost a year, and it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So she's retiring to focus on Daniel and to focus on starting a family, and maybe we'll have little Braniel babies running around soon.
Saying yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Maybe that'll be the baby's first word.
Maybe.
That'd be cute. Anyway, so let's see. I'm trying to save like the cool things for after.
Okay.
Well, there's only one cool thing. Well, I suppose 2 cool things I have left. Roman Reigns is the champion. But it's all cool, right? Roman Reigns being champion? Not really. He has this apparently... Has he taken the reins? Tagline.
Has he reached the... Or wait, no. He's taken reign. He is reigning now.
That was me pretending to shoot myself in the head.
You can't do that.
Shush.
People don't know that.
Well, I'm pretending to shoot myself.
I could add in a sound effect.
No,
but I
we're
probably
fine.
Won't.
We're fine.
I won't.
He has this new tagline, which is super annoying, and he's only said it like 3 times, and it's 3 times too many. I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy. Cue eye rolling. It's so annoying. They had a really cool match on Raw. It was Cesaro, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho. It was supposed to be the last 3 and Sami Zayn, but Kevin Owens, in his continuing salvo throwing against Sami Zayn, decided to powerbomb him through a table and render him useless for the match. So Cesaro returned.
That sounds like a very wrestling thing to do.
Yeah, and
powerbomb someone through a table.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been intrinsically linked for many years now, and they are, as many people say, and even themselves, destined to do this forever. They were best friends, now they're hated enemies, and it's just an ongoing...
DTDTF.
What?
Destined to do this forever.
Oh, okay, sure. Anyway, so AJ Styles won the match.
I made a new thing.
There you go.
You're welcome.
A new acronym. So AJ Styles will face Roman Reigns at the next pay-per-view, which is May 1st, and it is Payback, which is fitting for having it after WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt's injured. He apparently injured some part of his leg overseas in the on the Europe tour. So that sucks. I'm actually really sad about that because I love Bray Wyatt. And I suppose we won't be seeing much of Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan because they really aren't much without Bray Wyatt. And when you have the 2 most charismatic members of the Wyatt family out due to injury, it's... I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with them. But all I know is WWE has completely screwed up the Wyatt family. They could have been the greatest thing ever, and WWE's like, nope, we're going to have them lose every major match, and it's not going to mean anything. Found out today, I have it listed as Adam Rose and Connor, and in parentheses I have tall one, because I can never tell Connor and Victor of the Ascension apart. But apparently, Adam Rose and Connor, the tall one in the Ascension, were suspended both for 60 days apiece for violating the wellness policy for a second time. So, the Ascension the Ascension did lose against Enzo and Cass on SmackDown. So, they're out of the tournament. So, Victor's probably going to be gone for a while as well, and Social Outcasts are now minus a member. So, that'll be interesting to see what they do if they pick somebody else like Damian Sandow. But dreaming on that. And before we go into our topic, the best thing from WrestleMania, besides Shane coming out with his kids, that was amazing. And the money falling down with Shane's pretty face on them. And I really need a stack of those bills. So if anybody has them and would like to contact our podcast to try to send them to me, I would be very grateful because I really, really want a stack of those.
We're quite unreachable, though.
Shush. But besides Shane coming out with his kids and all of that, the best entrance at WrestleMania was
Undertaker. Oh no, wait. Oh yeah, that's right. The New Day.
New Day.
They came out of a cereal box.
They came out of a gigantic Bootios box, and they were dressed like they were from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, they were dressed in Saiyan armor.
It was great. A gigantic Bootios box. The second I saw that Bootios box, I was like, they better come out of that box, and if they do not, I will be severely disappointed. And then the box tipped over, and hey, here's New Day. They're the best.
I guess they were the prizes inside of the box.
I just got my Bootios box. Too bad I couldn't have had New Day come out of the box and be the prize, and Xavier Woods just play Francesca too, and Big E and Kofi just shake their booties, and it'd be great.
Okay.
They need to come here and do that. That'd be amazing. You'd be very entertained by it too. Shush. You love the New Day. They're great. I love them.
But
they're amazing.
Okay.
And the Bootios box, I got it off of WWE Shop. I just received it yesterday. It is more spectacular than I thought it would be.
Shill.
I will shill WWE until the day I die.
Shill? You're just working for them. Man.
I will be buried in WWE merchandise. I've already cleared this with my brother, my baby brother, who is 12 years younger than me. We'll be making sure I am buried.
He's not an actual baby.
He's still my baby brother. He may be going to be an adult in November.
Say that.
Because he's the youngest. He's the baby of the family.
But no, they're not babies anymore.
He's my baby brother.
He's a teenager.
He'll be an adult in November, but he's still and always will forever be my baby brother.
All right.
Hi, Jacob. All right. So, what's the topic we're going to discuss together? We're combining combining our powers to talk about something.
You should have just said it since you're referencing it every second of everything.
Topic.
Hold on. Okay. The topic is people that, no matter what fandom or what interest, will say that true fans don't do this, or true fans are only this. This kind of stemmed from something, for me it was video game related. I was part of I still am, I guess, part of a group on Facebook that has to do with collectible stuff for the Metal Gear Solid series, and someone kind of went on a little crusade about saying, oh, if you liked Metal Gear Solid 5, then you aren't a true fan. And I took issue with that because that's my favorite series, and I still liked that game a lot. It is a very good game, and I think a lot of people thought so too. I mean, there wasn't the same amount of story content that people generally expect from the series, but there are probably several reasons for that. Overall, though, the game is very good. I mean, the gameplay is very tight. It's very good. It's probably the best example of an open world game that's been out there so far. Excuse me. And I was just really irked by that person's demeanor towards that, and I think I tried to say something against him, and then I think he deleted my comment, actually.
Because that's the mature way to take care of things.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about people that, say, oh, you're not a true fan of this unless you like this or you don't like this because it was bad or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure you've had that with wrestling, so.
Way too much. It's, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you're not a true fan if you don't know about this, or if you like John Cena, you're not a true fan, or da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's so ridiculous. Like, why can't you just be welcoming to all fans? Like, if a person likes something that you like, why do you feel the need to tear them apart and say everything negative you can think of instead of welcoming them with open arms and being like, hey, you don't know about this? Let me teach you.
Exactly.
Like, why can't you just... Like, I very much welcome new fans of wrestling. And trust me when I say... I will tell you everything you want to know about a specific storyline, a specific superstar, a specific... I was going to say diva, but apparently they're also listed as superstars now. A specific storyline of, like, a specific wrestler instead of, like, a full-length storyline. Like, oh, hey, this person has done this, 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 and this. I will always... just be like, oh, you want to learn about this? Okay, sit down and let me tell you. I just don't understand why you have to separate fans of something. Like, why can't you just be like, hey, we have this thing in common. It's wonderful. It's amazing. We love it for different reasons, but we can get along because we love it, instead of tearing people apart and separating people into groups.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing that really bothered me, I think, was just their demeanor towards other people's opinions. I mean, and saying, oh, yeah, you just can't be a fan of this then if you liked that thing because that wasn't good, it was crap, and you're wrong for liking it. It's like, hello?
Right.
That's a very strong opinion, and it still is an opinion. I would assume that people... that care so much about something would actually care about other people's opinions about it, but I guess not. So...
people are very... what's the word I'm looking for? Very, people can be very... would polarizing be the right word?
Yeah.
They're... and I understand being protective of something you love. I actually calmly and nicely... asked a person to stop judging people for liking wrestling because there was a little kid in the background of an image, and they're like, oh, who the fuck would take a child to this? And I calmly and politely gave my point of view, and it ended a heck of a lot better than I thought it would. And it was because I was passionate about what I love. But if you're... even though you can still be passionate without being polarizing. Like, you don't have to attack people for liking something that you... it goes along with the Star Wars thing, too. I just got into Star Wars, watched 4, 5, 6, and then we watched 7, and then I wanted you to show me 1, 2, and 3. I like all 7 movies, but apparently that's the worst thing you can say in the Star Wars fandom, because 1, 2, and 3 are terrible and they're horrible and people think they're stupid, but I just got into them and I don't mind them. I like them. They are part of the story. They show you things that happened before 4, 5, and 6, and I really like them, but I'm constantly told that I shouldn't like them and that they're not that good and all of this stuff, and it's like, just let me enjoy them. Why do you have to try to ruin my interest in something? If you keep doing this, you end up pushing those people away instead of wanting to become bigger fans. And then you're just driving potential fans away and making your fandom look terrible.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and it's just... I don't know. I try to respect people's opinions. The things I like, that I really like, I can see why people get a little defensive about stuff like that. But on the other hand, I mean, it's the more things where people can enter like a fandom, I guess is the word, about liking something that you like, and even if they're just getting into it, they should still be able to have their own opinions of it. It's like, I don't know. It's like one thing I have to accept that a lot of younger people coming into games I've heard are more into like mobile games and don't actually like console games as much. Or that's for like old people, which is a little bit, enraging, but I mean, it's their opinion, and I don't know if I could. It's like, if they want to call themselves gamers, I mean, that's a different kind of gaming, but sure.
I'd be looked at as not a real gamer because I play the 3DS and I play the dance games and I play mobile games.
I think it's kind of like been a thing of pride because playing video games for the longest time was looked down upon so harshly. It's like, oh, you play video games? Why don't you get a life, loser?
Same with wrestling.
Like, getting probably picked on for and that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't think I don't really had any of that when I was growing up, but probably, I don't know, I kept to myself a lot, and that's just what I like to do in my free time, so.
My favorite thing about being a wrestling fan is, in school, it was, oh, you're a wrestling fan? You know that's fake, right? Like, it's not real. I don't know why you even like it. It's stupid and it's fake, and you probably shouldn't watch it because it's just stupid. But yet those same people would pull me aside when no one was looking and ask me what happened on the last episode. Oh, really? So in front of all your friends, you absolutely fucking hate wrestling, but when nobody's looking, oh, hey, what happened? What happened? What happened? No, I'm not going to tell you. And I've gotten so much crap for being a wrestling fan. One, because wrestling's fake. It's scripted. It is not fake. It is scripted. There is a difference. Two, I'm a girl. Oh my god, you like wrestling? Three, I'm older. I'm nearing 30. People were like, oh, you should grow up. You probably shouldn't watch wrestling anymore. It's stupid. And you're an adult. Like, you shouldn't watch it anymore. As I kindly tell people, everyone has that one thing in their life that has helped them through things. It could be music, it could be books, it could be writing, it could be video games, it could be sports, it could be exercising, it could be other things. The one thing that has always been there for me my entire life and has always been the thing that I go to cheer me up, to make me feel better, to escape the real world, is professional wrestling. Every big moment of my life, whether it was a family member dying, or my classmate passing away, or coming home from school because I was bullied so bad, I always had wrestling. The night of my classmate's funeral, went home and watched wrestling for 2 hours and escaped the real world and ignored the fact that I just lost somebody my age. The night I found out about his accident, we had just gotten done watching wrestling. I watched up to, what did I say last time, 27 hours of wrestling a week. That's because it was the only thing that made me feel better. And to this day, it still makes me feel better. The day Shane McMahon returned was the 4-year anniversary of my grandfather passing away. And my favorite person in the entire world of professional wrestling happened to return after 7 years on that day. So when people insult people for not being real fans, or for not being true fans, or for anything like that, or just insult wrestling fans in general, I will get worked up like I have this entire discussion, because that pisses me off, and it's not fair. Because this makes them happy. Why do you have to tear them apart for it?
Yeah. If something makes someone happy, they shouldn't. Yeah. They shouldn't have to, like, answer for that, really. So, what are our takeaways from this, then? What have we learned?
Do we have the wheel of...
The more you know.
The wheel of morality, turn.
What?
Animaniacs!
Oh. I haven't seen that in forever.
Wheel of morality, turn. What is the lesson that we have learned?
Let's say that, well, I think the lesson is just be more kind to people that like the same things you do. And if they don't like the same specific things you do, or if they don't hate the same things you do, that's their opinion, and they should be entitled to it, and they're not hurting anybody by liking something you don't like.
People are different.
Yeah.
Shock.
Spoiler alert for you people that still haven't figured that one out.
People are different. They like different things, and different things make them happy. Wow, what a novel
I might have
concept.
to put a spoiler alert in the notes for this.
Maybe.
People are gonna learn
people
a lesson.
might be very shocked.
Yeah, I know.
And just be accepting of what people love.
I don't think many of my friends would, though. I think a lot of them are open-minded enough to agree with that.
And, like, if something... There's this thing I saw, it was if somebody is passionate about something and you, like, can see it in their eyes when they talk, don't look down on them. Don't tell them to shut up. Don't push them away. It's a thing that makes them so passionate, you can tell it by looking at them. Just let them talk about it.
Yeah. It's like the thing, you know, how, like, being a geek or a nerd or whatever used to be uncool, and now it's a very cool thing, and now superheroes and comics are, like, super popular, and there's new fans coming into that stuff every day. Be a little more accepting, because if you're pushing people away, then that franchise you really like may not get as many fans because it'll be turned away so quickly on it, and you might not get that second movie or third movie or whatever.
And it just makes your fandom look incredibly immature and stupid, looking at you, wrestling fandom on Tumblr.
Yeah, the internet is pretty bad sometimes, but...
I'll gladly call them out. They're a bunch of little bitches, and I hate it.
Oh, okay.
It makes me not want to do anything. If somebody says something about a wrestler...
To be fair, all corners of the internet have stuff like that, yeah.
There's someone I follow on Tumblr where she likes a specific wrestler. A bunch of people don't. They're sending her threats and telling her that she's this type of person that she's not. Just because she likes this wrestler. You all like wrestling. Shut up and get along. It's not that difficult. Everybody has a different favorite wrestler. Not everyone's going to love your favorite wrestler. Not everyone's going to approve of this wrestler. But if somebody likes that wrestler and you don't, shut up about it. Just be nice. That's the lesson. Be nice. If everybody was nicer, this would be a better place.
So, the lesson of the day is to be nice to each other. This has been another lesson brought to you by the Squared Circle Button Podcast. With that, I think we've all learned something very valuable today. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Very personal, like right into your earbuds or earphones, or through your speaker system, or through your car's speaker system, or however else you get audio into your brain. I don't judge. We're not a judging podcast.
We are a very accepting and loving podcast.
Oh, you have to
come
up.
Sorry.
It's more intimate that way.
We are a very accepting and loving podcast, and if you love what we love, we will listen to you.
Yes. Something like that. So with that, we sign off with this bi-weekly, almost, something like that.
Whatever we decide to do.
Well, it is now, but anyway, we'll sign off this edition, this episode, with that. So we'll see all of you guys again.
Good night.
We'll not see. We don't actually see you. That would be creepy. We don't see you.
That would be very creepy.
But in spirit, we know you're there. All 2 of you. Good job.
Hey, we have like 20 listens.
Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Good night.
Until next time. We don't actually have a sign-out thing that we say or anything, but we'll just say goodbye for next time.
Good night. As